Hello and welcome to HD's weekly talk show, The Interview. We did take a break, but we return with an absolutely new package. The untold stories of dynamic civil servants, wherein we bring you back-to-back programs on civil servants who have done path-breaking work. Their stories, sure, are inspirational, but also mirror the challenges of the profession. In our new series, we answer the 5 W's and decode what it takes to be a civil servant. In this edition of HD's weekly talk show, The Interview. Dad, I made it to the IAS. Now you will see me in our district as a DC. This was the first phone call Armstrong Pame made after he cracked the civil services examination. From carrying paddy on his back for 7 long kilometers and sometimes even more, to fighting hunger, to part funding a road in his village, Armstrong Pame's journey is an interesting one. Back home in Manipur, he is called the Miracle Man. He is our guest this week in our special segment on civil services in our weekly talk show, The Interview. Welcome to the show, Mr. Armstrong Pame, and thank you for being here with us.
Hi, Kumkum. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Let me begin with your being the first IAS officer from your tribe. What did that do to you and to your people? And the first phone call you made to your father saying, Dad, I have been selected in the IAS. Now I will come back to the district as a DC. Take me through all that emotion, through what you went through, what your father went through, what people back home and people from your tribe went through.
Life has been difficult growing up in a very remote village, the village called Impa village lying in a Nagaland, Assam, Manipur boundary. We chose vehicle for the first time somewhere in 2011 or 12. We chose electricity for the first time almost around the same time, 2011 and 12. There were times when we used to walk back from the district headquarters. We used to sleep in a village that comes in between. One of the particular journey I remember taking with my dad. We reached that middle village, but we thought, sun is still high. Let's try reaching our village. I couldn't walk anymore because my legs were all swollen. So my dad cut me a small bamboo where I can use it as a stick. I limb it and start walking to the village. So that was the type of life I remember growing up.
So from there to, if I may use the local term, Lal Batti Gadi, from swollen feet to really driving in a Lal Batti Gadi, that transition, and how does it work and how does it feel?
So I remember specifically, I was in 3rd standard. We used to do this 15 August Kataime, we used to have this Maspats parade. So we used to salute the chief guests as we walk past the flag. So I asked the principal of the school, Mr. D.P. Panmay, I asked him, Sir, whom are we saluting to? Who is he? He said he's the district collector, he's the deputy commissioner under whom so many things can be done. So I believe growing up with that faith that, I want to be that person who can bring changes. So that has been the inspiration that kept stuck on my mind. I went to Shillong for my class 11, 12. I was very focused. I wanted to study in St. Stephen's College. After the graduation, I jumped on to preparing for this UPSC exam, and it has been my single life goal to be there. For the last 14 and a half years, it has been a wonderful journey.
So going back as DC of your district. What was that like?
So in fact, that was the time I realized that, Armstrong, now you are given an opportunity to do something for the problem that you had already faced as a child, and your people are still facing it. So that was the opportunity. I started touring villages on foot. Nothing like, growing up in your own town, in your own district, and having to serve your own people in that capacity where you can bring certain changes. And the best satisfaction they also get is that, they come and sit in front of you. They're able to communicate with you in their own mother tongue, which was, never the case. The officer sitting opposite you will not be able to understand what you're saying. So I was able to take away all of those,
You spoke about swollen feet. You spoke about walking through the night. As a 14-year-old, you carried paddy grain on your back for 7 long kilometers, maybe longer, maybe, and you fell unconscious. Take me through that experience. Take me through,
Well, that was one of the journeys where I remember vividly, where I remember clearly, because that was the time when that particular evening, I fell unconscious because I was too hungry. And I was carrying a paddy of what? 2 teens? I don't know how much. It must be about 25, 35 kilos. So the moment I, decided to take rest, carrying paddy is not something very new, because my mom, after we shifted to the district headquarters, she used to whip shawls. I remember she used to get 200 rupees or 600 rupees for the shawl that she weaved. This all for our school fees and, meeting the daily requirements.
what are the other incidents, tragic, non tragic, happy, which have shaped your life?
Well, there are several instances where I could say has saved me or touched me personally. One of them being, so almost every morning, my dad would wake all of us, especially the boys, who used to go and carry firewood. Life used to be tough. I remember, especially during winter time, when, the forest is full of dews. As a 12, 13-year-old boy, you have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go carry firewood. The second instance is my dad, besides being a school teacher, also is a carpenter, is a full-time carpenter. We used to go work with him in someone else's house, making someone else houses or tables or chairs. I have seen villagers being carried on bamboo stretchers when they are sick, when they are taken down to the district hospitals. So these are some of the incidents that remains as a challenge that you want to do away with, that you want to bring a solution on. So I think these are the things that made me what I am today.
You've been a man of action. You have brought change. And anyone who tends to do that also battles controversies. What are the moments you would like to forget?
Oh yeah, I remember in 2018 or so, there was an incident to do with one lady being suspected to be killed by her husband. The husband happens to be from my community, so well, I had no idea. I have never met this husband in my life. However, people aligned that, I'm protecting him. So the next day they attacked my office. The attack was so sudden and kind of so serious that people started breaking into my office, and then I had to call people, to come and rescue me. So that incident was really bad.
Incidents like that and some run ins with the powers that be, has that ever changed or weakened your resolve to say, this far and no further? I don't think I should really go that far.
Well, at least I have not come up to that point where, I have been challenged to give up assets. But yes, let me tell you, during the COVID period, life of a district magistrate, I think maximum test was there. In a very remote district like mine, first of all, controlling COVID was one. Secondly, I had calls received from every nook and corner of the country from my people who are staying in different parts of the country. The problem is the people who are not so educated, who has gone to work in some small city 100 kilometers from Chennai. Just because they have my phone number, they'll call me. So those instances, you get distress call from almost every possible part of the country. And then personally, that time, my first son, during the time of my wife's pregnancy only, he was detected with heart disease. So I had to attend to my family issues also. I had to be back in the district. So I thought, yeah, this is the limit. I don't think I can go beyond this.
So from a field job, from an active, vibrant, and of course difficult field job in Manipur, to a pen-pushing one in Delhi, how is the transition?
Well, coming to this Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and given the films division, films wing, I was thinking, what will I do with it? For a guy who watches less than 3 movies in a year, hardly, So, but however, as I start seeing that, if I'm signing this paper, how will it impact the last man in the field, in the most rural part of the country? Now I start seeing films in a way of giving employment to the poorest possible man. For every films that is being made, job generated is not less than 50, 100 people. Secondly, one of our job is also looking at how to increase the screen density. We have so many movies made, but the number of screens in the country is so less. For every screen that is set up, single screen that is set up, you can provide 10 to 20 people employment opportunities. Of course, the biggest thing my ministry as of now, the film wings is looking at it is the opportunities in the animation, visual effects, gaming and comic sector. We had launched this 3D animation and BFX course, which has been only the playfield of the rich because the course fees are extremely expensive. So we said, we will raise fund. My ministry will raise fund. Then we will also raise some funds from the CSR of corporate.
That sounds wonderful. But let me ask you, do you miss Manipur?
I do miss Manipur, its food, its climatic condition, everything. And, but I think I'm also getting to learn a lot of new things. And having studied in Delhi, Delhi is also like equally now like a home. So
in Manipur, you were known as the miracle man. How did you earn that title?
I don't call myself a miracle man. People may call me, but I still call myself a simple village boy, who still have that village dream. So I think this started when in 2012, because the excitement was there, right? People are seeing their own IAS officer. So they feel that IAS officer can do everything. So they had that belief. I asked them, okay, I'm here right now. I'm like the answer to all your prayers. You've been praying to see an IAS officer. I'm here. Now, what should we do? So they said, sir, we want a road. You also came walking. We also have been walking for all our lives. And from here, this village, there's a highway coming from Nagaland and going to Assam. We would like to connect this highway to. I say, we don't have fund for that. So one old man stood up and said, you're an IAS officer. If you don't know where the fund is, how are you expecting us to know? So the condition was very clearly laid in front of me. Number one, should I wait for the government funding? By then, I will no longer be posted as an STM because I have just less than a year. Or should I do something what I can? So I chose the second option, saying that, chalo, as we wait for the government to come and give us a better, bigger road, let us start whatever we can. So that's how.
And you funded the road
No,
yourself,
no, no,
part
no,
funded. You
no,
part
no.
funded the road.
No, I wouldn't say that. So to start with, I had some savings because I was in the Indian Revenue Service for a year. So I had some savings. Then my elder brother and his wife, who both teaches in Delhi University, Mr. Jeremiah and Dr. Avitoli, they also gave a month's salary each. My mom, who gets my dad's pension, also gave, then all of us contributed. So we had about 6-7 lakhs. I went back to the villagers and said, okay, we have some money to start with. What will you guys give? He said, sir, we're all here. So then that was the moment that same old man stood up and said, I'm going to give you my 5 months salary, because he gets 200 rupees per month as an old age pension. One widow stood up and said, sir, I can also contribute all the firewoods that is required to cook food for the workers. So that was the energy that was there. So that is how we started. And of course, the rest is history.
Then what the result was, what is now called the People's Road.
Exactly, yes. So, people from 25 countries contributed in one way or the other. So we were able to do a Kacha road. So that's when the people say, this is a miracle road, this is a people's road, this and that. They started lining up my name with this project. And of course, we rightfully call the people's road because it was the people who gave everything to make this possible. So that's how it came along. And I'm so happy to tell you that when I came back as a district magistrate, rightly so, what I told the people, let us do what we can today so that tomorrow the government can come and do bigger, better road. In 2017-18, the process started. And just before I left the district as a DM, the road has started. The government of India has given, about 3,000 crores and has declared it as a national highway 137. This road will be the lifeline not only for my people but for people from different parts of the country.
You have worked for women. Why is gender, or why has gender been so important? Have there been any childhood influences which impacted you?
See, my two sisters, they basically gave up their regular studies for me and my brothers. Both the elder sister, they had to start working in a showroom in a place called Gitorni. I don't know where is it also. And the salary would be what, 3,000? 500, 3,500, 4,000. And that too, everything is sacrificed for us, for our fees. So they could not continue with their regular education. When the family is poor and when you have to make decision between sending a boy or a girl to this or that, girls are the one who makes more sacrifices. So in that way, I felt that, okay, now that God has given me this opportunity, let me try looking at those schemes where I can impact the life of the girls in more way. Boys, they suffer literally little lesser. Girls, they suffer much more, especially when they are not independent. So that's why I had started few initiatives like sending, girls for nursing courses. And one of the courses which I am so happily taking pride in it is sending girls who are even class 10 fail, class 12 fail for a computer coding course, software coding course. I'm so happy to tell you that the first batch, many of them had ended up working in Accenture, working in American company ThoughtSpot, working in NatWest, working in Workspace Option, big companies. Now they're earning 30,000, 40,000 during internship. No happiness can be greater than this.
Your weekly dinners with students, which were later replicated by some other chief ministers and some other IAS officers.
So one day, as I was looking out of my office window around at 3:30, I saw thousands of children coming back, from the school. I was just picturizing myself. Armstrong used to be also one of those kids some 20 years back. You just cannot burst into DM's office or DM's house, right? So I was saying, the desire for you to know what's going on in the DM's office and what DMs eat was so much, but you cannot invite yourself, right? So I said, Armstrong, why don't you just give these children an opportunity? I immediately came back, drafted a letter, sent to all the principals. Please send 20 kids every fourth Friday of the month. After the office hours, I take them for dinner. I said, so, okay, I used to wonder what DC must be eating, So this is the food I use to eat, and here you share with me. So I think this model has found good replication in different parts of the country, and I'm happy that many people have been able to replicate this and give opportunities for children in one way or the other.
You were conferred the Most Imminent IAS Officer Award. Looking back, how does it feel?
Well, awards comes and go, but one good thing is that, it is good to be recognized not as an individual, but for the efforts that you put in together with the people, that too from a remotest part of the country, a place which you otherwise wouldn't hear, where the mainstream newspaper will never write. Now, whenever any newspaper, any television channels carries me, they carry the place, my place with this report. So somehow or the other, my place gets importance. So more than the individual award that I have been conferred, maybe as a most eminent IAS officer, distinguished IAS officer, or even the young global leaders conferred by the World Economic Forum. So more than my individual name, my state, Manipur, my district, Tamenglong, my subdivision, Taoseam subdivision, gets carried along. So I feel that that is the bigger achievement.
What are the challenges and difficult moments you have faced in your career? What are the lessons learned and unlearned?
Well, I am too young in my career to say that, I have learned this much and that much. Well, there are times when your boss may not be very happy with you. So, yes, we take that. And there are times when we feel that we're going too fast and that we need to go slow, because as a young guy, you want your boss also, both the elected boss and the senior bureaucrats, to also travel at the speed that you want to, because we do not see things from their angle. They are much more experienced. So sometimes you get angry because they don't think the way you think. So there has been times like that. And of course, there has been time when your elected boss, especially, does not align so much with the vision. So there has been time when we say that, I cannot go beyond this, so we call it off,
So what is your advice to young aspirants, the do's and don'ts of the civil service? Would you say take on the powers that be, or would you say stay away from confrontation?
We know that we work under the democratic systems where the elected representatives are the one that will make the final decisions. We have to learn how to explain the things that you desire according to the laid down rules and policies. Well, there has to be a certain level that you can go. If anyone pushes you beyond that certain level, I think you should quit it. Sometimes when things are not just possible and someone still force you to do it, I think you have to find a way to exit. So that's there. I mean, there's no much point in trying to confront this and that. So
But you are a fighter.
See, I'm a fighter in a sense that I don't give up in a sense, but the things, so far, I would say, luckily, the things that whatever has been initiated, no one has opposed it so much. So maybe I'm lucky in one way.
Unlike many of your colleagues, why are you not the boring 10 to 5 p.m. officer? And why do you go that extra mile?
Whatever you do, try to connect with the reality. As we're talking also, my family is supporting 350 children in my village school. And there are so many things that goes around that you feel that you can contribute. So when you can coordinate and bring changes, why just leave those opportunities? When you can do it, why not? Why just give it away?
Let me end on a question. You may not wish to answer, but I will still try.
Sure.
How did you get into so much money? You're now supporting several initiatives. So, from carrying paddy grain on your back, from swollen feet, to now funding 350 girls, as you said. How did that happen?
Well, as much as I remember, I am living on debts. I have only about 1,75,000 in my account right now, in my salary account. I have constructed one house in Imphal on taking a bank loan of about 60 lakhs rupees.
So, why these reports about you being a very rich
wait,
man?
Wait, let me complete. So, the house rent that is coming from the house is entirely goes for the school funding. So, as much as I remember, I'm living on debt.
So, how the reports of your being a rich man?
I'm rich because I have lots of, things to do that I want to do. And I've never been bought down because, God is giving me every day my requirement, food to eat, clothes to wear. What more? Maybe people must have thought that since I'm supporting so many initiatives, they thought I'm so rich. Well, let it be for their own imagination.
Mr. Armstrong Pame, thank you very much. Thank you for your time and thank you for taking all the questions.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.